Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Friday, June 7, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Folks, we told you yesterday about the death of Anthony Johnson Jr. in a Tarrant County, Texas jail. The medical examiner has now ruled his death a homicide. Also, the overall May unemployment rate held steady but rose among the black community. We'll talk with economist Morgan Harper about that. Supreme Court justices released their financial disclosures. Who is the one you can fly him out anywhere you want on the weekend? It's Clarence Thomas. Wait till we show you how much money he's got in gifts. Let's just say he's gotten more than all of the other justices combined over the last 20 years. Talk about being corrupt. The Florida Supreme Court upheld Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to suspend Orlando area State Attorney Monique Worrell. Tonight's education segment, a summer camp that teaches financial responsibility in investing in the stock market, cryptocurrency, and real estate. Plus, what the hell is Dr. Phil talking about in his idiotic interview with Donald Trump? We're going to show you some of that stupidity. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
It's being called a blowout jobs report. 272,000 jobs were added last month. Here's the thing. The economists were expecting some 160,000 to be added. The unemployment rate rose from 3.9% to 4%. Folks, they're trying to figure out what the hell is going on now. Of course, Republicans are going crazy because they keep saying how awful the economy is, but the numbers don't add up. Morgan Harper with the American Economic Liberties Project joins us right now. Morgan, glad to have you here. I mean, again, it's really driving Republicans nuts because they have been predicting doom and gloom since the inauguration of President Biden and Kamala Harris. And it seems every month they're like, damn, another one.
Absolutely. You know, we keep hearing these predictions of a recession, that, you know, President Biden, in investing so much in manufacturing, in infrastructure, in trying to, you know, lower costs or things, that he's just going to send the economy into haywire. And, you know, it doesn't seem to be the case based on this jobs data. Now, you noted that the black unemployment rate did tick up, as did the overall unemployment rate. But we're still, and this is a really important point, we're still operating in historically low territory. Just for context, you know, in the 2010s, you would see black unemployment rate 8%, 11% into 2015. And so these are still relatively low numbers. And like I always caution, you know, month to month, it's hard to interpret too much. But we are seeing that there has been that overall increase in black unemployment, so something for us to continue watching.
Well, the reason why I think it's hilarious is because every time I hear mushmouth Senator Tim Scott, the economy was so great under Donald Trump, and it's like, sorry, dude, you're getting blown out. 6 million jobs created under Donald Trump, now in excess of, approaching almost 14 million under Biden Harris. I don't know what the hell economy that they're looking at. Yes, inflation is an issue, but we have to recognize price gouging among companies. That's why these major companies are dropping their prices, because they realize that customers are saying, the hell with y'all.
Absolutely. I mean, a couple of things to note. One, these gains in the jobs are not just even specific sectors. They're actually across the board. So if you look at healthcare, you look at education, you look at government, you look at construction, you look at manufacturing, there has been wage growth. So that type of broad job growth, that type of broad-based job growth across all these different sectors really unprecedented. And then also the labor participation rate. For prime age workers, that is now also at record levels we haven't seen since like 2002. Over 80% of prime age workers are participating in the workforce, especially a lot of women. And so, yeah, I mean, this whole narrative about how this administration's thinking the economy just doesn't add up with the numbers. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Roland. I mean, these costs. This is the really important thing, though, especially as we are now in 2024, and everybody knows what that means for an election year. Is a lot of people, when you ask them about the economy, how's unemployment going? Are we in a recession? They're actually saying that, yes, we're in high unemployment territory and we're in a recession, just absolutely false impressions of what's going on economically. And that's a problem. And I do think it connects somewhat to these high prices that you've rightly identified in a lot of different market areas is due to price gouging. How do we know? Yeah, because now they're voluntarily lowering prices in groceries. But even on some of those areas where we've seen things like this oil executive that we now have evidence of that was colluding with OPEC and internationally raising oil prices, that were raising gas prices during the pandemic, that the Federal Trade Commission's been calling out, and we hope the Department of Justice will pursue criminal action against. Even gas prices now in 2024 are going down right as the summer is beginning. So we have to continue to also look at what is driving some of these high costs. For example, healthcare. I mean, I think that's one I hear a lot from people, that just the cost of healthcare, the unpredictability of what those costs are going to be, is a huge stress in their day-to-day economic lives. And that is something that connects to a whole series of monopolies throughout the healthcare ecosystem. We have pharmacy benefit managers that are just taking bribes, giving drug manufacturers these rebates and inflating the cost of overall health care. We have landlords that are raising rental prices and colluding to fix these prices to just see how far they can take us as renters and consumers to pay as much as possible. Not to mention a lot of the tech companies like Amazon that now also, through publicly available data, we know that they've been trying to also test the outer bounds of how much people can pay. Those are monopolies. Those require lawsuits often. Lawsuits take a while, but we have seen great progress in this administration in trying to hold some of this corporate lawlessness accountable to bring down these prices.
Last point here, I think when you talk about what people are saying, and I just firmly believe this, I believe, yes, prices plays a part of that, but also when you've had nothing but negative media reporting for 3 years left and right, and then the constant barrage of negative data coming from conservative media, I think that skews a lot of those polls.
Oh, absolutely. And as we know, I mean, once you get in one of these rabbit holes online because of these algorithms, which is why we need to break up big tech to get some control over the internet again. Yeah, once you get in one of these rabbit holes, then you're just going to get information that reinforces whatever perception you might have seen in that one article or that one clip you watched. And so it's true. I mean, it's really difficult, I think, to discern too much from polling. But I don't want to underestimate or somehow minimize, that things are expensive, and we got to continue to work on bringing the prices down.
All right, Morgan, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Great to see you.
All right, thanks a bunch. All right, folks, got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. A lot of y'all have been asking me about the pocket squares that we have available on our website. You see me rocking the Shabori pocket square right here. It's all about looking different. Now look, summertime is coming up. Y'all know, I keep trying to tell fellas, change your look, please. You can't wear athletic shoes every damn wear. So if you're putting on linen suits, if you're putting on some summer suits, have a whole different look. The reason I like this particular pocket square, the Shabori, is because it's sort of like a flower and looks pretty cool here versus the traditional boring silk pocket squares. But also I like being a little different as well. So this is why we have these custom-made feather pocket squares on the website as well. My sister actually designed these after a few years ago. I was in this battle with Steve Harvey at Essence, and I saw this at a St. Jude fundraiser. I saw this feather pocket square, and I said, well, I got some ideas. So I hit her, and she sent me about 30 different ones. And so this completely changes your look. Now, some of you men out there, I had some dudes say, oh man, I can't wear that. Well, if you ain't got swagger, that's not my problem. But if you're looking for something different to spruce up your look, fellas, ladies, if y'all looking to get your man a good gift, I've run into brothers all across the country with the feather pocket squares saying, see, check mine out. And so it's always good to see them. And so this is what you do. Go to RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. You can order Shibori pocket squares or the custom-made pocket squares. Now, for the Shiboris, we're out of a lot of the different colors, and I think we're down to about 200 or 300. So you want to get your order in as soon as you can, because here's what happened. I got these several years ago, and the Japanese company signed a deal with another company, and I bought them before they signed that deal, and so I can't get access to any more from the company in Japan that makes them. And so get yours now. So come summertime, when I see y'all at Essence, y'all could be looking fly with the Shibori pocket square or the custom-made pocket square. Again, RolandSMartin.com/pocket squares. Go there now.
It's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
This is your boy, Earthquake.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Folks, this just in, the Howard University Board of Trustees has revoked the honorary degree that was given to Sean Diddy Combs a few years ago. This is a statement that was been released by the university. It says this is the statement. The Howard University Board of Trustees voted unanimously today to accept the return by Mr. Sean Combs of the honorary degree conferred upon him in 2014. The acceptance revokes all honors and privileges associated with the degree. Accordingly, the board has directed that his name be removed from all documents listing honorary degree recipients of Howard University. Mr. Combs' behavior, as captured in a recently released video, is so fundamentally incompatible with Howard University's core values and beliefs that he is deemed no longer worthy to hold the institution's highest honor. The university is unwavering in its opposition to all acts of interpersonal violence. The board has also directed the university administration to immediately take the following actions: terminate a 2016 gift agreement with Mr. Combs, disband the scholarship program in his name, return his $1 million contribution, and terminate a 2023 pledge agreement with the Sean Combs Foundation. No payments towards the $1 million pledge have been due or made by the Sean Combs Foundation as of this date. Therefore, no funds are due to be returned under the 2023 pledge agreement. It says the board and university administration has no further comment on this matter. I want to go to my panel here. Joining me right now, Matt Manning. Of course, the Rush attorney. He is out of Corpus Christi. Glad to have Matt on the show. John Quill-Neal with our own law firm out of Atlanta. Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show out of Detroit. All right, Matt, so let's go here. This is a decision by the Board of Trustees. So they're basing this based upon the video that came out. So does this then mean that, let's just say, if people start looking at anybody else who gotten a previous honorary degree from Howard, and if they got arrested, if they were not even arrested, in this case, you have the video, he hasn't been charged with any particular crime, and so what do you make of this decision?
I think it's a good decision. I think, they say the university's highest honor is this honorary degree. I would argue the highest honor is a degree from somebody like myself who went to Howard and earned a degree. But to answer your question directly, I think they should do this because, Frank, these honorary degrees are really PR a lot of times, PR stunts, and I think they've got every right to say. I could hear
what they're saying. He gonna call on me and
somebody's speaking, Roland. So I'm sorry if I'm a little disjointed, but in any event, I think that the reason they confer these degrees is to say we think this person exemplifies the values and, the spirit of our fair institution. And once they have clear evidence that somebody's not doing that, I think it's good for the university to say not only are we rescinding this degree, but we're sending their money back because we want to make a clear and unequivocal statement of our values and of the fact that we no longer want this, quote, dirty money. So that being the case, I think it's good that Howard has done this. Now, whether they realistically need to or have the bandwidth to go through and review every single honorary degree holder to see if he or she has done something questionable, I don't think that's really practical, and I don't think it's really necessary in this case, particularly because Diddy has not disabused anyone of the idea that it's him in the video. He's adopted that with his piss poor apology, and as such, I think Howard is completely within its rights to withdraw this honorary degree and send his money back. So I think they've done the right thing, and I'm proud that alma mater has taken this position.
John Quell?
As it relates to, the sad thing about all of this, number one, as it relates to the money for the university, is that the students that would be the benefactors of it now have $1 million less from a deserving student, right? That maybe could not afford to attend the university. Of course, the university can utilize additional efforts to gather monies in order to fulfill scholarships. But as a result of his decision making, there are students where the university is going to have to fulfill that gap of money.
Michael.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea, and it's more than just the assault on Cassie or the video that surfaced. First of all, we know that Sean Combs actually paid an undisclosed amount to settle that civil lawsuit one before the video came out. Yeah. So then the video comes out. That incident that took place is Cassie alleged that incident actually took place in her lawsuit. Then the video comes out. We see it. Then Sean Combs puts out a video actually apologizing for it and said he makes no excuses for it. So he admits to it happening. He didn't say it was his brother. He didn't say he was an imposter in the video. He didn't blame Cassie for what happened either. He said he was responsible for it. So, and then the other thing is, we know that he just sold his stake in Revolt TV, which he founded, and there are also several other civil lawsuits alleging sexual abuse by Sean Combs as well. So this is to be expected by Howard University, and I don't know if they're going to go through. I don't know how many other honorary degrees they've given to people who have video surfaced of them assaulting women and admitting to it, things like this, and have sexual assault lawsuits out there. I don't know, but if video surfaces, they may take those same actions as well.
Well, it's interesting. Howard University didn't revoke, to my knowledge, Bill Cosby's honorary degree, nor did they return his money.
Well, when we look at Bill Cosby, one, we see that Cosby was exonerated. His conviction was overturned by the Philadelphia Supreme Court. Number one. Two, video did not surface of Bill Cosby assaulting women. Now,
so 1 second. So are you saying that the reason Howard is taking this action is because of a video as opposed to the action?
I'm saying it's a number of things compounded, but that video is evidence.
Of course,
that video is evidence.
No, hold on, wait. No. First of all, the video is evidence, but actually statute of limitations has run out. So again, I'm raising the point here is that again, and trust me, I think it's going to be raised with anybody else. Again, if you want to compare two high-profile individuals, when they were going through all the stuff happened with Bill Cosby, Howard did not revoke his honorary degree, nor
and I'm going to show you
nor return the money. And
I'm going to explain the difference to you right now.
What's the difference?
Number one, in the statement that Howard just put out, they said no payments on the $1 million have been made. Number one. Number two, Bill Cosby said the sex with Andrea Constant was consensual.
Okay, but here we'll go again. First of all, hold on. We know what he said. We also know it went through a particular trial. But here's the whole point. Whether any money had then been received or not, again, in fact, when Howard students were complaining about some comments that Felicia Rashad made when she was defending Bill Cosby said, send my money back. Howard didn't do it.
Right. Well, here there's no money to send back.
No.
Payments have been made according to their statement.
Yeah, I understand that, but again,
right. So I'm explaining the difference.
No. I know what the difference is. The point is this here. Okay.
Well, why'd you ask me what's the difference?
No. First of all, I didn't ask just you. I asked 3 people, so it's not just you. Okay. So you one of 3.
I'm answering.
No, but you're one of 3 people. So again, right. so Matt, I'm going to ask you again. Howard did not take the action. Now you could say that's a different board of trustees, different administration. Your thoughts on the comparison of the 2?
I get what Michael was getting at regarding that with Bill Cosby. At least it had played out through the courts. And as far as I know, he never publicly came out and said he was guilty or otherwise did not disavow that the event had occurred. But I'll tell you directly, you can, I think, say both things are true. You can have a criticism of Howard for not rescinding Mr. Cosby's honorary degree and say they were right in this circumstance. And as I said earlier, I don't know that they practically need to do that in every instance, but I do think that it's worthy of criticism, right? If you're saying, look, the reason you're doing it this time is because it's high profile and there's a video and it looks worse and you didn't do it before when Mr. Cosby was found guilty prior to an overturning of his conviction, I think that's a fair criticism. Despite being a son of Howard, I think you're entitled to ask that question. But do I think they need to go back through and rescind every honorary degree? No. Frankly, honorary degrees are PR moves more than anything else. So I think they're right to rescind it in this circumstance. And in the circumstances where they have not rescinded it, I think it's fair to ask them why they didn't do it in that circumstance. John. I think 2 things can be true at once.
All right, John Quell.
They need to rescind both of them. I mean, they need to rescind Bill Cosby's as well. Bill Cosby's conviction was overturned, and that was due to some mistakes, essentially, from the original trial. However, the amount of women that came forward for sexual abuse allegations was astronomical. And frankly, what's going on with Diddy is big news, but it was the same level of scrutiny, the same level of publicity as it was for Bill Cosby. And the level of egregiousness is the same. And so if they're going to rescind Sean Diddy Combs, they need to rescind Bill Cosby. Spelman, if I'm not mistaken, either Spelman or Morehouse, whichever one that Bill Cosby donated to the Cosby Center, I believe his name was removed from there. So
yeah, that was at Spelman.
His name was removed.
No, name was removed, but they kept the money.
Maybe Howard spent the money.
Again. They
never received it.
Again. No, John Kell. She's talking about Bill
Cosby. Bill Cosby.
Again. And so there was some other people who rescinded honorary degrees, but they also kept the money. And in fact, I remember several stories where Bill and Camille Cosby were like, well, if you're going to sit here and revoke some degrees, send that damn check back. Folk didn't want to send that check back. So I'm just saying. All right, I go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about the case out of Fort Worth. Medical examiner has ruled the death of Anthony Johnson a homicide. We'll also talk about what the hell was Dr. Phil talking about in his interview with Donald Trump. I'm like, Dr. Phil, are you paying attention to what's happening in the world? There's a lot we're going to break down, folks. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support us in what we do. Join the Bring the Funk fan club. Send your check and money orders to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Back in a moment.
Somebody's killing poor people, and it's going on.
When COVID happened, poor people were dying at a rate already of 800 people a day. Before COVID, if you went to a funeral every single day, it would take you 600 years to attend all the funerals of the people who will die from the ravages of policy violence, poverty, and low wages in America in just 1 year. It would take you 2 years and 19 days to go to all of the funerals of the people that will die today, and oftentimes silence. Nobody talks about this political genocide, but we are determined today to remember their death and be a resurrection of voting power and voice power like never before.
Economic justice and saving this democracy are deeply connected. We, as a nation, must listen to the demands of the poor, who are pushing and will continue to push political candidates and elected leaders to lift from the bottom so that everybody can rise.
We are the poor, the marginalized, and the underpaid. And we are taking one step forward to say that everybody has a right to live.
Poverty is not the fault of those who are impoverished. It is caused by those who make the policy.
There are over 135 million poor and low-wage, low-income people in this nation.
The biggest block of potential voters by far is low-income, low-wage voters.
I can't afford medicine. Sometimes I have to skip because of the cost.
The farm worker community is tired of the violence imposed upon us by greed, exclusion, and denial of basic human rights.
Those folk that represented by that casket, poor and low-wage workers who are the most moral people in this country because they go to work every day believing, even though going to work is hazardous to their health.
I'm tired of working 70 to 80 hours a week and still not have money for the necessity of bills. I'm tired of getting sick and not being able to go see the doctor, having to make a choice to pay between rent or the light bill or food or clothes.
You cannot claim to care about families and a culture of life and then do everything in your power to rob people of equal access to resources and to force them to live in poverty.
Leadership of both parties have waged war on poor people and low-wage workers.
And this government has treated people experiencing poverty, including their military families, with disdainful, deliberate, malicious neglect.
So the truth is that my son died from poverty.
We refuse to accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death.
The fourth leading cause of death in this, the richest country in the world.
We march today for our children and the generations to come.
And we need to do it with the loudest voices possible, the biggest actions possible.
We will voice our demands and register our vote.
When we stand up and when we stand together, things change.
There is the electorate that is, and then there is the electorate that should be.
34 million eligible poor and low-income voters did not vote in 2016. If just 20% of those voters in swing states were mobilized around an agenda, they could change the political outcome of every election. So we're launching the most massive voter mobilization and turnout campaign in history of poor and low-wage voters, allies, and religious leaders.
People are dying, but we know it doesn't have to be this way. And so we are calling on everyone to join us in this Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival.
We are here, we will be seen, we will be heard, and our power will be felt. We don't need to be an insurrection. We are a resurrection that will be felt across this country. Are you ready? 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 We are a resurrection, and we are ready.
And we won't be silent
Hi, I'm Jo Marie Payton, voice of Sugar Mama on Disney's Louder and Prouder Disney Plus, and I'm with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
You know what? You can always count on some folk who don't know nothing about politics to weigh in, and Dr. Phil is one of those folks. So he's touting this 70-minute interview that he did with Donald Trump, and frankly, he allowed Trump to sit here and lie repeatedly during the interview. But here, to me, is one of the questions that I just find to be stupid and idiotic from Dr. Phil. Listen to this.
Well, I wanted to, and I know that there was some news coming out of Georgia today, there was some news coming out of Florida today, that they're stepping back from this. And very good news. I called for the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but on Merritt Street Media, where I now do my show, I called for President Biden to stop all of this now. And of course, a lot of people said, oh, he can't stop it. It's a state case. Well, okay, that's an explanation for stupid people. But for people that understand how this works behind the scenes and all, I say the same thing. They need to stop this. They need to stop pursuing you. Since you started your campaign in 2015 to run for office, there have been so many attempts to get you off the board even before you started your campaign. Then once you were in office, 2 impeachment opportunities, they changed the rules to try to make it high crimes and misdemeanors if there were business conflicts, and in this case,
never ends.
It seems to be never ending, and that is a distraction to you. And I really wonder how that affects you. What do you say to yourself about that? Because it seems to never be ending.
It's a never-ending thing. There's a term that I know you've heard many times. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. Nobody's ever said.
Well, yeah, Dr. Phil, maybe it's never ending because he keep doing wrong shit. What you just heard right there, let me just be as succinct as I possibly can. You are full of shit, Dr. Phil. You are full of it. You are absolutely full of it. First of all, let's be real clear. They changed the rules when it came to high crimes and misdemeanors. Hey, Phil, have your ass ever actually read the Constitution? The Constitution does not actually define high crimes and misdemeanors, which means that the United States Senate and the United States House can define those very things on their own. Sounds to me like, Dr. Phil, you're an apologist for Donald Trump. Sounds to me like you were trying to kiss a lot of Trump ass at Mar-a-Lago. And then this, I think that's for stupid people to say Biden can't stop it. Let me be real clear, Dr. Phil, because clearly your doctorate ain't in political science. Clearly it's not in history. It's actually not in anything political. President Biden can't stop a damn thing. In fact, Dr. Phil, if Biden picked the phone up to tell Fani Willis not to prosecute Donald Trump, he has no jurisdiction. He has zero authority. He has no authority over Fani Willis in Fulton County. He has no authority over Alvin Bragg in Manhattan. He has the same amount of authority over a Democratic DA that he does over a Republican, which is none. And no president and no governor and no mayor and no county judge should be calling a DA telling them what not to prosecute. Now, Dr. Phil, you've operated as a witness in many trials, so you know a little bit about the law. Last I checked, Dr. Phil, it doesn't matter if you're a former president. It doesn't matter if you're a candidate for president. The sign above the Supreme Court says equal justice under law. And if somebody broke the law, and if a DA took it to a grand jury and got an indictment, then they have to go through the exact same procedure as any other regular Joe or Jamal in America. But I want to know how you feel. I want to know how you feel. All the attacking, they seem like they trying to keep you off the ballot. No, Phil, seems like his ass keeps breaking the law. All you did was sit there and just kiss Donald Trump's ass for 70 minutes. And y'all, then they posted some interview of some black woman in the crowd. She like, mean, after that, I have a whole different view of Donald Trump after that interview. Well, yeah, if you sat there and saw Dr. Phil kissing his ass for 70 minutes. See, y'all need to understand what the likes of Dr. Phil are doing. First of all, he tried to say somewhere else, I'm not a political person. Really? After the comments that you made? Now, Dr. Phil, come on. Anybody with a quarter of a brain know you full of crap for what you just said. And so, yeah, you're going to get called out for it. And it was totally BS. I mean, they sitting here, they sitting here coming after you, and it's like they want to take you off the board. How about this, Dr. Phil? Why didn't you say, hey, Donald, if you don't want to be prosecuted, stop doing prosecutable shit? How about that? That could have been your position, Dr. Phil. But no, you want to use your platform to absolve Donald Trump of his alleged crimes. But here's the fact, Dr. Phil, as somebody who's been on the witness stand, participated in many trials, he was found liable for sexual assault in New York City. And he kept defaming E. Jean Carroll. I'm sorry, did you admonish him? Did you tell him, why won't you listen to the law? Please tell me, Dr. Phil, why didn't you tell Donald Trump to shut his mouth and stop insulting judges and violating gag orders? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. That didn't go along with your long effort to kiss his ass for 70 minutes. You deserve to be criticized for that joke of an interview, Dr. Phil, because essentially what you did was a 70-minute campaign prop for Donald Trump. That's what we saw from you, Dr. Phil. John Quell, your thoughts?
You know, with Donald Trump, although he was the president, these prosecutions, while everyone the biggest debate is about it being a party issue, right? The Democrats coming after the Republicans, or Biden coming after Trump. But what this really shows, and what's important here, is that when it comes to Donald Trump, is that no one is above the law. Even if you're the president of the United States of America, if you violate the law, if you break the law, then there are consequences to that. And you're going to be prosecuted as a result. And no one is going to drop the charges just because of who you are, what you're running for, or what your prior role was in the country. And frankly, you know, the president being the top person, the top man of the world, right? Because the United States is one of the most powerful countries in the world, right? We can't have tyranny running this country. And to Dr. Phil, that is begging President Biden to pardon him or to stop these prosecutions, is really unfortunate that he's even making these kinds of pleas to the media, to online, to everyone else, because as you previously stated, the prosecutor has the discretion. Each state prosecutor, right, can make the decision on who they're going to prosecute in their jurisdiction. And so at the end of the day, he was just found guilty of 34 counts, okay, in that felony trial. And so at the end of the day, you've committed these felonies, a jury has spoken, and you deserve the consequences, as would any other ordinary citizen in this country.
Here's what sort of cracks me up here. I mean, I'm talking about if y'all want to hear something that's a joke. Wait, let me play this one right here, because I just found this one to be unbelievably laughable for somebody who supposedly is a doctor in human psychology. Supposedly. Listen.
I know you got a thick skin. You're not one of those people that's afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. I get that.
I think that's true.
My question is not how do you do it. My question is why do you do it? Why do you, 'cause let's face it, I mean, you're a billionaire, you got a great family, you're a very dedicated father. People may not see this in you a lot because you keep that kind of private, but my question to you is why do you subject yourself to this? How? I know you got a thick skin.
Matt, what? Everybody know this man ain't got no thick skin. This is one of the most thin-skinned individuals you've ever seen in your life. He attacks anybody and everybody. He is a narcissist. You don't have a need to be loved by everybody else. Yeah. What the hell is Phil talking about?
First, I want to know if Dr. Phil got a check from the campaign or from the Trump organization, because it seems pretty clear that he's pandering. And it's funny that we're having this conversation today. I was on a plane from Baltimore yesterday, and I'm reading this book, right? It's called Winning Arguments. And there's a section in here about Trump. And what the author talks about with Trump in particular is that Trump has been a force because he's had arguments and basically has controlled the narrative such that he's never talking about what anybody else is talking about. He's always talking about what he wants to talk about. And I think that's particularly dastardly in this situation is because Dr. Phil should have, I would think as a journalist, some ethic guiding him to at least be objective and ask questions that would make his viewers find out more about the subject and at least be fair in considering the subject. But here, to your point earlier, it's like a 70-minute campaign commercial. And the thing that's ridiculous about that is there has been coverage ad nauseum about how Mr. Trump is very petty, vindictive, about people who crossed him, come out and said that he would not really politically prosecute them, but basically he's going to go after people who are counter to him. That is consistent with being thin-skinned. So why he's throwing these alley-oops, trying to soft pedal his character and give him all these opportunities to come off like a family man and all these things that he publicly has spoken counter to in what he said, I don't know. And I don't understand why Dr. Phil would do this. But I also think, irrespective of him having a PhD, Dr. Phil is clearly in the entertainment business and not in the business of being a credible practitioner. So I think this is consistent with that, and I'm wondering if there was a big check for this entire session where Donald Trump got to come and extol his own virtues, especially with Dr. Phil helping him along.
All right, you want to hear more BS? Let's watch this asinine line of questioning.
Everybody calls it inflation, but affordability. When we talk about gasoline, under your administration, average $2.57 a gallon. Under Biden, $3.61, 40% more. Under your administration, homes average $320,000. Under the Biden administration, 31% more, $420,000. Under your administration, interest rates 3.8 average. Under the Biden administration, 39% more at 5.3%. Okay, now let's look at the border. Under you, average 1.7 million border crossings. Their official number is 6.4. That's from Homeland Security. It's actually about 13 million because I know I've been to the border. I've talked to the border guards down there, Brandon Judd. I've talked to Jason Jones. I've talked to the people that actually know the numbers. They say it's between 10 and 13 million. So my point is when you look at the actual numbers, plus the things you just talked about, lower taxes, higher tax revenue, you look at that and you would say, my God, he should be running unopposed. I mean, why?
And these numbers, I appreciate it, and these numbers are really, I don't know who made them up.
Very conservative.
As an example, I guess.
I can't listen to the bullshit anymore. First of all, this is the game Dr. Phil plays here. The average under you was this, under Biden is this. Okay? First, nice, convenient way to skip over 2020, Dr. Phil, that thing called COVID. Nice try. Second of all, when he talks about, average prices of a home, Dr. Phil, would you like to mention how America did not build enough housing stock in the previous decade? Do you not want to mention that private equity by at the end of the decade, they will own 40% of all housing stock? That kind of plays a role in all of this. Because guess what? I can show you actually that prices were lower under Obama. Because you know what? Oh, that's right. Because we had an economic recession because the housing market crashed in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Oh, wow. Those things are called facts. And so what Dr. Phil tried to do right there, Michael, was give this bullshit false equivalency. I don't understand. If those things were so great, you should be running unopposed. We should just be sitting here hand delivering the cake to you every day because, my God, when you were there, the world was just flat out amazing. Why are we not just kissing your feet and washing your feet and praising you, dear leader? That's what Dr. Phil sounded like.
Yeah, he did. And, you know, what's interesting is that Donald Trump inherited a relatively healthy economy.
Not relatively. No, he inherited an economy that was completely rebuilt after the destruction of Bush in 2007, 2008. And it was 3 years of hell under Obama in 09, 10, and 11 to get to a thriving economy in 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Right. Yeah. It was the unemployment rate was 4.7% when Donald Trump came into office. He inherited a healthy economy. And for evidence on this, the article from NBCnews.com, Trump says he built a great economy. Numbers tell a different story. So it's interesting when Dr. Phil wants to just compare the interest rates and compare the price of gas and things like this. He doesn't start with you inherited a healthy economy from Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And then also...
And he doesn't say, and you handed Biden an economy that sucked.
Exactly. Donald Trump is the only president that lost more jobs than he created. He lost 2.5 million jobs. No president has lost more jobs than were created since Herbert Hoover, okay, in 1932. The other thing is...
Wait. Before I let you... I just reminded me. Mm-hmm. How you gonna cite numbers and go, but the real number is 13 million because I went down there.
Yeah.
Oh, so what you do? You like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, so I'm sorry. So you gonna cite numbers, but then go on border crossing. Well, they say it's 6, but it's really 13 because I went down there, and I talked to the people down there counting. So, so we should believe that number and the other number. Go ahead, man.
That looked more like a Fox News propaganda interview. But the other thing is that during COVID, when you had shutdowns in various states and nobody was driving, right? The price of gas plummeted because demand dropped. So it looks like he's averaging those.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. Demand didn't just drop.
Yeah.
What? Nobody driving.
Right, exactly. We drove oil prices down.
I live 45 minutes from D.C.
Right.
I'm used to sitting in traffic. It was a damn ghost town driving in every day. What? I have never in my life, I will never forget 2020 and half of 2021. It was like, damn, where did everybody go? So, of course, Dude, he just sat there again. But this is what happens when you go, well, the numbers are this and the numbers are this, and so this is apples, this is apples. No, it's not. It's a lot of stuff you leave out trying to sit here and craft the argument. But what got me, Michael, was you should be running unopposed.
Yeah, well, he totally left out that whole insurrection thing when Donald Trump tried to overthrow.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that just
domestic terrorists to attack the U.S. Capitol, and they assaulted over 140 police officers. He just conveniently left that whole thing out. But the other thing is, you talked about it here on the show, Roland. Under President Joe Biden, you have a record amount of oil production that the U.S. is doing at the same time. Okay, The Economist has an article, Joe Biden, master oil trader, from May 16, 2024, that goes into this and deals with why, even though the price of oil, I think the price of gas is a little higher, I think, than this time last year, but it's still relatively low. Okay, so all things considered, so this was you would have thought that this appeared on Fox News or Newsmax.
Oh, Fox Nation.
Fox Nation, the amount of lies that were told. And no fact checking.
This absolutely, as Matt said, Matt says a campaign video, you called it propaganda. That's all this is. Dr. Phil has absolutely no credibility with me talking politics after this joke of an interview with Donald Trump. I mean, it's abundantly clear.
Absolutely.
It's abundantly clear. And so his line of questioning, all the stuff he laid out, and I'm just sitting here going, and we supposed to believe your ass? And your Merritt Street media? Nah, we ain't believing that trash. It was an absolute joke. And hold on, let me see if I can find that damn clip of the black woman they had in the audience. You know, I just had a whole different view of Donald Trump. After watching that interview, yeah, because all you watched was an ass-kissing interview. Hold on, here's this here. Hold on, let me set this up. I don't know who the hell this sister is, but if she was in my family, man, we'd be cussing her out at Sunday dinner. Listen to this nonsense. Come on, pull the audio up.
So watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before. And us not seeing him more, it actually kind of hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
Yeah, you bet. All right.
What? Us not seeing him more. And Dr. Phil, you bet. The man lies every damn day. Every damn day. And here's the other deal that, and I would love for Dr. Phil to want to address this question. What was up with all the jump cuts in the interview? What was up with all, because matter of fact, some people have posted, let me play this clip right here. Let me find it here. So when we do interviews, I don't cut stuff out. You talk beginning to end. But hold up, here we go.
You'd be the first one.
No, okay, now y'all just watch this right here. What's up with the splicing? Okay, watch.
You'd be the first one to do it. I know you. You'd say, what? Let's get rid of these. You know the money they save and the danger they save?
And look at this map that...
You'd be the first one to do it. I know you. You'd say, what? Let's get rid of these. You know the money they save and the danger?
Folks are talking about in terms of how it was edited, stuff along those lines. Again, just understand, y'all, this is what you call absolute propaganda. And then Dr. Phil wants to say, oh, no, I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking. He's giving all these. Oh, no, I don't do those things. No, I'm not even involved in politics. I just want the world to come together. In fact, y'all, this is literally what he said 3 days before he decided to go talk to Dear Leader. Listen to this.
I wanted to share my final thought about this. This weaponization of our great institutions, the FBI, Justice Department, and individual states' similar institutions, will lead to one of two outcomes.
Okay, let's stop right here. So first of all, you already are using right-wing talking points by saying it's the weaponization of the Justice Department. I'm sorry, do we want to remind Dr. Phil who tried to actually fire a number of officials? That was Trump. Who ordered, and he and several of his top lieutenants in the DOJ said, we will resign if you make this move? That was Donald Trump. This is the man. Really, Dr. Phil? Oh, the weaponization against him? Okay, a little more BS, y'all.
From the other side, tit for tat. That may seem deserved, but it is not the right way forward for America. The other is what I call on you to demand from your politicians today, an end to this craziness in order to save the soul and sanity of our country. The Pope has actually given us the right approach in his new book when he says, we are all brothers and sisters, and there must be no resentment among us. For any war to truly end, forgiveness is necessary. That is true of any war, including our current cultural war. We need our Justice Department to return to the business of meting out justice and not running the political agendas of those currently in power, blindly.
So the DOJ, so help me out, Dr. Phil. If the current Department of Justice was doing Biden's bidding, why is his son on trial?
Right.
I mean, if they would do my bidding, I'd be like, y'all ain't prosecuting my son. Oh, remember when Biden said, remember when Phil said that Joe Biden could pick the phone up and end these trials? How would Dr. Phil like it if Biden said, y'all ain't prosecuting my son in this? Oh, you would have a problem with that, huh?
Right.
Ain't that interesting? Biden has come out and said he will not pardon his son if convicted. Donald Trump said he will pardon every single person involved in January 6th. But you, Dr. Phil, say we need to get back to doing the job. Okay, just a little more of the BS from Dr. Phil.
Wait, can I ask a question first?
Convictions, warranted or otherwise, and attacking political opponents. That requires a very few important things from each of you, from all of us. Finding your voice, forgiveness, and focus on the way forward.
Okay, he just said forgiveness and focus on the way forward. Yeah, 3 days after this, in his interview, Donald Trump promised retribution against his enemies. I didn't recall Dr. Phil quoting the Pope at that time. I didn't recall Dr. Phil telling him, you know what, that's not right, that's not fair, that's not just. You should be extending grace and mercy. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't use grace and mercy against somebody who holds the Bible upside down. Back to Dr. Phil.
Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgiveness, and at the same time requiring better. We are not some banana republic, for God's sakes. What are we going to do next? Have a Putin poisoning posse?
Okay, all right. So first of all, let me help Dr. Phil out with something. When you say the phrase banana republic, do you know where that came from? That phrase came from the United States helping overthrow countries largely in Latin America because of the folks who own banana plantations. Yeah, that's how we also took over Hawaii and it became a state. Just read Stephen Kinzer's book, Overthrow. Now, let me help you out, Dr. Phil. In a banana republic, there ain't no trial. They go from pick you up to execution. So the reality is, Donald Trump had due process. It actually happened. So when y'all throw these phrases out, we're gonna be a banana republic, that's actually not what a banana republic is when you actually get to present a defense. So you might wanna actually study the phrase banana republic, Dr. Phil, before you just start talking like Sean Hannity. I gotta put a little bit more of the stupidity.
And start finding political opponents foaming at the mouth at home, not so mysteriously dying in their lazy boy recliners? We're better than that. We must be better than that. I don't like what I see happening in our country. This kind of thing is exactly why I launched Merit Street Media and wrote We've Got Issues. I don't like seeing the weaponization of our justice system, agencies, and powerful government actions that, frankly, just make my skin crawl for all of us and for my grandchildren. And let's be honest, this is so not just about Trump. If you let your hatred for Donald Trump compromise your ability to find true north on your moral compass, shame on you. If you let your disgust for Biden make you blind to the inevitable consequences of pursuing revenge, then God help the children who will inherit the dystopian nightmare we create.
Yet 3 days later, you interview Trump and he talks about retribution, and you say and do nothing. Dr. Phil, you are a joke. And all of that crap that you said in this 4-minute and 16-second commentary, and I only played half of it, everything that you said can be thrown right out that damn window on Black Lives Matter Plaza here in Washington, D.C., because when you actually talked to Trump 3 days later, it was a 180 degree from everything that you said here. So the fact of the matter is, you talked about having a moral compass in this. You clearly forgot your moral compass when you went to Mar-a-Lago. Matt, I think you wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that Bob Menendez and his wife are being prosecuted right now by Biden's Justice Department, aren't they? And he's a Democrat, yes. Right? And what we see that the goalpost always moves. We know, especially with Trump, it's about, his talking points and advancing his message. But all I was going to add to it is, one, there's great irony with it being called Merit Street, and then obviously having a non-meritorious a conversation with Mr. Trump. But the bigger part of that is the thing I thought was really insidious about this is the way Donald Trump continues to other black people, referring to the blacks should give him 100% of his vote. And what's interesting about that is that there's just so many people who allow his sound bites to ring rather than the totality of what he said, including, Dr. Phil, to your point, about 3 days later, he says something directly in contravention with that, and you don't see any retraction or any kumbaya from Dr. Phil then. And that's what I think is driving this. Sound bites and people being placated with sound bites and then forgetting about what was said until the next time a spicy sound bite comes out.
Folks, if y'all want, y'all can watch that 71-minute interview with Dr. Phil. It's trash, and he's shown exactly who he is with this trash that he just presented, and you simply have no credibility on any of this, Dr. Phil. You clearly are a Trump apologist. That's what you sounded like in the interview. It's abundantly clear. When you try to kiss as much butt as you can, and I'm sure Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. were going, damn, he did a better job of kissing our dad's ass than we do. I'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Now streaming on the Black Star Network.
If you look at all of the best mans, the movies, and then, of course, series on Peacock, why do you think it resonated so well?
Well, I think it's a reflection of us. I think it's a reflection of authentic black people, the way they see themselves. And in some instances, aspirationally so.
Essence Atkins.
Mr. Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching.
You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, the breaking news out of Tarrant County, Texas. The medical examiner there has ruled that the death of Anthony Johnson Jr. has been ruled a homicide as a result of asphyxiation. Now, we talked yesterday with his parents. He spent 8 hours in the Tarrant County jail before he was, frankly, assaulted by jail guards there. Now, this decision comes in, this ruling comes in. This here is some of the surveillance video here. You've heard the sheriff offer excuses. 66 people, let me say it again, 66 people have died in the Tarrant County Jail in the past 7 years. 66 people. And we showed you the family members as they appeared at County Commissioner's Court, demanding action. And now we have, today, this decision from the medical examiner saying this was a homicide. This here is a statement that was released by Tarrant County Commissioner, one of the Tarrant County Commissioners, Elisa Simmons. We've had her on the show. She says here, another heart-wrenching jolt for the family of Anthony Johnson Jr. came today with the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's release of Mr. Johnson's autopsy results. The manner of death in Mr. Johnson's Tarrant County jail death has been ruled a homicide. The cause of death was determined to be both mechanical and chemical asphyxia. I extend my sincerest condolences to Mr. Johnson's parents, siblings, and the entire family during this incredibly challenging time. I am saddened by the determination, yet I am not surprised by it, considering what we all witnessed in the partially released video. Each and every individual who had a role in causing Mr. Johnson's death should be held accountable for their actions or inaction. The accountability I am calling for includes the filing of applicable charges for all involved, to include detention officers, supervisors, and medical personnel. The shocking tactics displayed in the limited video that was released make clear that Sheriff Bill Wayborn is ultimately responsible for this tragedy. I repeat my call for the sheriff to release all remaining video footage that captured the excessive force death of Mr. Johnson to Commissioner's Court members, followed by release to the public. As county executives, the first question we must ask and answer is, could this have been avoided? I look forward to next week when I have my initial meeting with the United States Department of Justice. I'm committed to supporting efforts to ensure the Sheriff's Office is seeking and implementing best practices. Until such time, I believe the Tarrant County Jail could benefit by a review by the U.S. Justice Department. Darrell Washington is the family attorney. Darrell joins us right now. Look, we had y'all on just 24 hours ago, and now we have this determination from the medical examiner. What was the response of Anthony's family?
It was shocking, Roland, and I would say shocking because, you know, we all have seen throughout the country, whenever you have these type of deaths, typically a medical examiner would come back with a ruling that is not consistent with the evidence that's been viewed by the family. But the family knew all along, just looking at that partial video, that what happened to their son was murder. So I will tell you, when we gave them the news, it was like them receiving that very first call when they learned that Anthony was dead. So it's been a very difficult day for the family.
And again, you're going to have the sheriff now you got to deal with a medical examiner. Hey, not elected. It's all about the science. Now they have to now deal with this being a homicide. Medical examiner didn't say accidental overdose, didn't say, oh, you know, something else. No, they ruled homicide. That's called murder.
It's clear, Roland, and let me just point out something to you. And it's, you know, all the things that happened is not pointed out to the public yet, but these jailers actually use pepper spray. And a couple of inmates actually came and gave statements that these jailers took the pepper spray and sprayed it directly into his mouth. That's the manner in which they treated him.
Wow.
So this is why a lot of this video has not been released. And when you see this video, as we said all along, people are going to be totally outraged. And this is the reason why they don't want this video to be released, because we know, Roland, and we've seen it all across the country. If there's video footage that shows what law enforcement officials are doing is proper, that video is released immediately without any hesitation. But whenever there's any type of video footage that shows what they did was wrong, then they want to hide behind an investigation. But this video has not been shown for much too long, and it is time for the public to see what's been going on in Tarrant County Jail. And listen, what's going on in Tarrant Jail is happening in the state of Georgia, it's happening in Florida, it's happening all throughout the country. And now we're going to see what Mr. Johnson has been saying all along. We don't want the death of Anthony to be in vain.
You heard the commissioner say she's meeting with the Department of Justice. I mean, look, this is one of those cases where the DOJ should be swooping in. Frankly, the FBI should be coming in, confiscating documents in the sheriff's office and at the Tarrant County Jail.
It's no question, Roland. I know they watch your show. I know people are familiar with what you broadcast out to the public. And when you hear that there's been 66 deaths since 2017, when there have been 6 deaths in 2024 alone, I don't know how much more it takes. We know that this is a problem. And again, as we said yesterday, we're talking about the Tarrant County Jail. We're not talking about a prison facility. So many of the individuals who are there have not even had a day in court. They are innocent individuals. And if the Tarrant County Jail is going to accept people in, then they have a responsibility and an obligation to make sure that they are taken care of.
First of all, he should not be dead. He had a schizophrenic episode, jailed on April 21st. This young man should be alive. He served this nation in the Marines. He should have been treated far better, not just because he was in the Marines, because again, he's a human being, and what they did here was shameful and despicable. It's now being ruled a homicide, and now let's see if the Tarrant County District Attorney is going to be as aggressive prosecuting these jailers as he has been in prosecuting Crystal Mason for voting, and her ballot was never even counted.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Roland. And we've had a number of meetings with them, and I feel very confident now, Roland, to be able to say to know that there are going to be some individuals who are going to be arrested for the death of Mr. Anthony Johnson. The question now is how many individuals are going to be arrested. So I feel confident about that because, you know, when you have events like this, we say it all along, video footage, that is your independent witness. You're not having to take my word for it. You're not having to take nobody else's word. You have that independent witness. So they have no choice in this situation right now. We are going to hold them accountable. I feel confident right now that they are going to go forward. And I do believe, Roland, next week, as early as next week, at least 2 individuals should be arrested for the death of Mr. Johnson.
We certainly hope so. Daryl, we really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Roland.
Going to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Your money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
What's up, y'all? This is Wendell Haskins, a.k.a. Win Hogan at the original T-Golf Classic. And you know I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Ben, I'm going to start with you. You're there in Corpus Christi. The reality is the Department of Justice right now is reviewing juvenile facilities in the state of Texas. 66 people have died in a jail in 7 years. As I said, DOJ, FBI should be swooping in any day. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and they should be swooping in to review what's going on in Tarrant County. And I want to say first, Daryl Washington is one of the absolute best in our state in civil rights matters. So the family could not be in better hands, and I know he will absolutely get to the bottom of this and assist them along the process. But the problem really here is the law. I mean, I literally filed today a case against the jail in a city here in Texas where my client, who's intellectually disabled, had her leg broken a few hours before she was going to be released from jail. They gave her no medical. She went to the hospital and ended up having to have major surgeries. My point is this. Jails and prisons in the state of Texas and everywhere do not routinely provide people the care that they need. And in this instance, they killed this brother. Now, I will say, the medical examiner finding that it's a homicide is not a determination of guilt or liability as much as it's a determination of the cause of death, right? But in this instance where you have video, you know that that cause was by people who were violating their duty. So hopefully they will not be able to have qualified immunity as a defense. The problem is just that in the Fifth Circuit where we live and practice, the court is extremely conservative. They are not in any way amenable to these kinds of cases. And the legal hurdles are difficult, despite the moral reality being it's clear that this family should be compensated and we should not be having this conversation. That jail has a serious problem, and a lot of jails around this state have a serious problem because people die in droves. In fact, the Texas Observer did an article a few years ago where they chronicled all of the deaths in Texas jails, and one of my cases was a part of that story. I'm still litigating that case. And I was baffled, despite having multiple cases like this, at the extraordinary number of people who die in jails and in prisons. And this, to me, ends up needing to be a legislative issue, because what happens is families have to climb the same Mount Everest to hold somebody accountable, no matter how clear the evidence is. And here, when you have 6 jailers not only jumping on this man, but also using pepper spray, which they know can cause asphyxiation, this Tarrant County DA needs to absolutely prosecute these people. And frankly, if he doesn't bring prosecutions, I think DOJ needs to look into his office, because we've talked a lot about how his office is pursuing an asinine case against Crystal Mason, despite her being absolved by the higher courts. But here you have a dog pile, and you have a gentleman who lost his life during a mental health episode, and that's the corollary to this. These jails and prisons have woefully inadequate resources as it relates to mental health, and people who are in jails and prisons routinely die because of adverse responses to mental health situations. So we are in a crisis point in this country, and here in the state of Texas in particular. And the fact that 66 people have died in 7 years, and this commissioner is still issuing PR to this extent is a travesty. I hope this family finds justice, despite how difficult the legal hurdles will be.
Michael, not a single word from Texas Governor Greg Abbott or Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. These right-wingers won't say anything, probably because Tarrant County is the last large county in Texas that Republicans still control.
Yeah, they probably won't say anything about this. And we know Greg Abbott also gave a pardon to the man that killed a Black Lives Matter activist as well. So, yeah, this is a tragedy here. And I really want to hear what is the jail's excuse for the death. And we know that 2 of the officers at the jail were fired but then reinstated. As well behind this, reinstated by Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Wayburn. And I want to get more. I've read a couple of articles on this, but I want to get more reasoning behind why they've been reinstated. They're on paid administrative leave right now. So yeah, this is extremely troubling. I agree. The Department of Justice, if they're not already investigating this, they definitely need to investigate this, as well as the 66 deaths since 2017, because that's just that's just unacceptable with that. And yes, there's lacking when it comes to mental health in prisons, but also in county jails, as well as lacking when it comes to medical services also. So this is something that we definitely have to address.
John Quayle, this DOJ has been very aggressive in investigating prisons, jails, putting wardens and corrections officers in prison, far more than under Donald Trump, even more than under President Barack Obama. Again, this is a situation where they need to move expeditiously against what's happening there. 66 dead in 7 years, that is an absolute outrage.
It is an absolute outrage, and just to keep it real here with everybody, a lot of our jails in the United States are not properly maintained. Specifically here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Fulton County Jail, at least seven people have already died this year due to overcrowding, due to the conditions. When we're talking about mental health and not having the proper facilities, we're in a mental health crisis just generally. I mean, there really isn't, anywhere for anyone with mental health issues to go. When I was a former prosecutor, just like education, mental health is directly tied to crime. And a lot of defendants coming through the criminal justice system had mental health issues. However, there really wasn't anywhere to send them. You know, there was a mental health court, but they're outside of holding them for 48 hours or 72 hours. We are in a real crisis as it relates to facilities and treatment for those suffering from mental health issues, period, and specifically in the criminal justice system. And frankly, you know, just as Attorney Washington stated earlier during the course of his interview, is that the jail houses people that are awaiting trial, right? So they're presumed innocent. And so you have these defendants who are here that have not been convicted, but they're dying. And this crisis is so major to the point where, you know, I'm glad that the Justice Department is being more active now than what it has in past years. And could it be that the number of deaths are increasing over the years? I'm not sure if it has to do with administration or the level of deaths or the egregiousness of the state of what our jails, our city jails, look like at this time. But one of the biggest takeaways from this for me is that, number one, we have got to do something about the overcrowding of the jails, the training of these officers, the mental health evaluations, psych evaluations that some of these detention officers need to be subjected to before they're released with dealing with these types of issues. And we need to keep suing them. We need to keep filing those 1983 claims and keep suing them for millions of dollars and holding them accountable, and they need to be prosecuted. Just like what you stated, and I'm gonna make this very brief, but essentially, you know, in Atlanta, we have the public integrity unit, right? That's a unit specifically for targeting public corruption and going after officers that are killing people. Or using excessive force. And I'm sure that Texas, and I'll defer to my Texas colleague here about whether or not that a specific office exists in Texas. But I'm sure in addition to the DOJ, there should be an investigation at the state level as well.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we will continue following this story. All right, got to go to break. We'll be back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table, a man Cornel West calls the greatest Democratic theorist of his generation. Adolph Reed joins us to talk about his eventful life and his book, The South, Jim Crow and Its Afterlives.
Somewhere between an electoral sweep or an out-and-out coup or putsch, I think the danger is quite real.
Join us for the Black Table, only on the Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. The Florida State Supreme Court says Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to suspend State Attorney Monique Worrell was not too vague. The 6-1 decision keeps Worrell out of a job. She is running for her office in November to regain her Orlando area position. She claimed the reason DeSantis suspended her was too vague and his decision infringed on her prosecutorial discretion. DeSantis appointed 5 of the justices. The court's sole dissenting opinion by Justice Jorge Labarga said that the 20 states attorneys need prosecutorial discretion to address the challenges in their respective jurisdictions, since Florida is such a large state with varying geographic and cultural influences. DeSantis suspended Worrell in August through an executive order for neglect of duty and incompetence in failing to prosecute crimes. What we really have here, bottom line, Jonquil, is Ron DeSantis, who wants to tell other people who are duly elected, who run on platforms, that they should do his bidding and not those of the people who elect him.
Yes, I agree 100%. I mean, when I looked into briefly as it relates to her removal, I guess he cited some instances about her not going after the mandatory minimums for specific type of drug crimes or holding juvenile offenders to a certain standard. Frankly, that district attorney had not even been in office that long before he had even removed her, first of all. She hadn't even been there that long. Second of all, prosecutorial discretion is so important to be able to have because each case is unique. In each case, could require a different outcome. While mandatory minimums are important, right? But we do know that in a lot of these drug cases, that you see these kind of outlandish, disproportionate sentences akin to someone that has killed somebody. Okay, and so it's just interesting that he removed her during the course of period of time when he was running for presidential election, which he subsequently is no longer in that race. But secondarily, she was the second Democratic prosecutor that he had removed, the former one having stated that he would not prosecute abortions. And so it's really being reflective of a Republican agenda when really the district attorney's position is so important. It ensures the safety of everyone. There's a time where politics, it has to be set aside, and it has to be set aside in the name of the safety of the citizenry and pursuing justice. And so it's really, really unfortunate. But it's my understanding that she's running again, and I wish her the best in that race.
Here, Matt, is elections have consequences, and this is a right-wing thug who wants to force everyone to do his bidding, and this is the second state's attorney that he suspended.
Yeah, and I think Jonquil hit the nail on the head in most respects. The only thing I'll really add to that is a couple things. The first is this is a legal problem insofar as in the state of Florida, the governor has the right to suspend this state's attorney, right? Whereas in the state of Texas, the only way you could do that is via a removal lawsuit, which I've talked about here on the show. To that end, your point is well taken, particularly as it relates to legislators, right? This is a legislative issue because it is in the Constitution, or at least in the Florida statutes, that he has the right to do this, which is kind of absurd because what we're seeing across the country, particularly in Texas and in Florida and in Oklahoma and other states, is we see Republicans particularly wielding local control when they want to have control within their locality, but then saying that the state or some higher level should be able to take away local control where people have voted for someone who they do not agree with ideologically. That's why Sergeant Perry got pardoned. That's why Fani Willis has been attacked. That's why all of these prosecutors particularly have been attacked, because Greg Abbott and DeSantis don't like the fact that they are duly elected in their communities and are serving their communities following people saying, I want you to be in office. So this is a legal issue that needs to be fixed by voting the right people into the Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate to either revoke this or amend the law or make it such that the voter's voice carries the day, because that's the problem here. You have a governor who can be politically motivated, and we know Ron DeSantis is exactly that in most decisions that he makes, who can take away the people's voice by removing somebody they duly elected. I mean, that's just offensive if you look at basic democracy, and that's what's happening in this instance.
Michael, none of what Matt said is going to happen as long as Republicans have a gerrymandered map, and then they have total control of Florida. And that means people have to vote.
Absolutely. That's what I was about to say. This is why elections have consequences. This is why elections are so important. We have to understand how to weaponize our vote. You don't vote for exercise. You vote for power. They're exercising their power. They're using their power over you in this anti-black state. And go back to 2018 when Andrew Gillum, Mayor of Tallahassee, ran against Ron DeSantis. And you had some African-Americans in Florida who said they weren't voting for Andrew Gillum because he didn't have a black agenda. And I say Ron DeSantis has a black agenda. He has an anti-black agenda. And an anti-black agenda is even worse than not having a quote-unquote black agenda. And we see what Ron DeSantis is doing. And then also, remember, we talked about the story of Andrew Bain in Florida, who replaced Monique Worrell, and then Andrew Bain, if I remember correctly, Roland, then he got rid of Monique Worrell's executive assistant. Am I correct on that?
Yes, several top staffers.
Yeah, and several top staffers and the executive assistant as well. So this is a deep, deep history dealing with Florida, former Confederate state. And this is why you have to vote these people out of office who continually do things to harm you. This was a progressive prosecutor here, Monique Worrell, and we have seen backlash coming from governors, coming from Trump's Department of Justice against progressive prosecutors that citizens voted for to be more fair in their prosecutions.
Indeed, indeed. All right, y'all, we come back. Let's talk about the most corrupt Supreme Court justice we have seen in a very long time. Wait till I show y'all how much money Clarence Thomas has accepted in gifts from rich conservative benefactors. You will not believe it. I'll be right back.
On a next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie. Being of service to others is one of the greatest callings in life. But being there for someone else in their time of crisis is a whole new level, and you have to bring courage, commitment, and strength. On our next show, we meet two real-life angels who were thrust in the midst of caregiving and without warning.
And he was looking strange and couldn't cut his meat. And it was very odd. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he says, I think I've had a stroke. And so, of course, it scared me. And we literally got in the car and he walked into the hospital on a Thursday. And by Saturday of that same week, he lost all control of his left side.
The blessings, the challenges, and the way they maintain their balance, all next on A Balanced Life on Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Franklin. It is always a pleasure to be in the house. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Trying to see how much money I have on hand that could buy Clarence Thomas. If y'all want to know how much it costs to rent a Negro, Clarence has made it perfectly clear. There's a group, y'all, out there that actually looked at the campaign disclosure forms, and they broke all of this stuff down, and it's called Fix the Court. And so what's interesting about this, and when I say y'all, they broke it down, check this out. They compiled all of the gifts, some 672 gifts given to Supreme Court justices over the last 20 years. Anthony, go to my iPad. A total of 672 gifts totaling $6.5 million. Y'all see that first column? That's Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas has accepted 4 million of the 6.5 million. Y'all, look at the other justices. Scalia, Alito, Stevens, Ginsburg, Roberts, Kennedy, O'Connor, Sotomayor, Breyer, Rehnquist, Jackson, Gorsuch, Kagan, Barrett, Souter, Kavanaugh. Clarence Thomas has accepted more money than all of them combined. Combined. He's taken double what everybody else has gotten. This man, can we just say, Clarence Thomas, hello, rent a Negro. Rent a justice. I need everybody to understand. This man right here is bought and paid for. Bought and paid for. He actually wants us to believe that, he's impartial to decisions when he is accepting free gifts and travel. Then after they dropped the report, my bad. I read the language wrong. I didn't realize I was supposed to cite some of the stuff my wife was given. My bad. Yes, sorry about that. Then he updated his form today, acknowledging more trips that the billionaire Harlan Crow has given him. This is a tweet right here. He took some trips in 2019. Now, mind you, ProPublica has been kicking his behind for months, and now all of a sudden, after the story comes out, he now, my bad, damn, my bad, dog. There was some trips in 2019 when Harlan Crow flew me out. My bad, yeah, I got flued out by the billionaires, and so I don't know how those things just escape my memory of yeah, that's right. Let me go ahead and report those things. So my bad. I didn't. Here's actually what he said, y'all. This is pretty funny. 2011, Justice Thomas didn't disclose wife's income due to a misunderstanding of the filing instructions. How is your ass one of 9 Supreme Court justices, and you supposed to know case law? You supposed to be at the top of the legal heap, knowing all of this stuff, and your simple Simon ass wants us to believe, my bad, I misunderstood the instructions. We ain't talking about plugging in a toaster. No, he wants us to believe, I didn't realize I was supposed to list my wife's income on my financial disclosure form. Y'all know my wife, Miss Daisy, the one who was trying to overthrow the government, who's a crazy right-winger. So check this out. 2023, Thomas, quote, going back, inadvertently failed to realize a real estate deal need to be disclosed. It's called a financial disclosure form. Then, my bad, today, he inadvertently omitted the free luxury trips. I don't know what happened. It just slipped my mind that I was on that private jet and I was flued out to these luxury trips. I don't know what happened. I just been so busy with all of these rulings. Look, between all the rulings and my wife trying to overthrow the government, it just slipped my mind. I just didn't realize what was going on. Matt, this is the most corrupt Supreme Court justice. Abe Fortas got $160,000 from a rich friend and was forced to resign from the Supreme Court. Clarence, darling Nikki Thomas, has gotten $4 million in gifts, and we're supposed to believe he's impartial.
There are a few terms that come to mind. The first is get it how you live. The second term is who gonna check me, boo? Because that's really the question here. The Supreme Court does what it wants, right? I mean, we've heard about the recent fights to even implement any kind of ethics. I'll give you an example. When I was an assistant DA, I would never let anybody pay for my lunch. Because under the Texas rules, even though I could accept that, I never wanted there to ever be a question about impartiality, and I never wanted to be accused of accepting a gift. It is crazy. It is downright corrupt. It is Tammany Hall tactics, frankly, that a Supreme Court justice would continue to take all of these gifts and then lie about it. Oh, I didn't realize I couldn't do that. Inadvertently failed to realize. I'm glad you made the point you did earlier, because they go through the minutia of arcane legal arguments, novel arguments. Now, I don't like his positions on most things, right? But he finds a way to reason through some very difficult legal reasoning, but somehow cannot declare everything that he knows he's gotten as a gift. And really getting down to it, what's so heinous about this is that this is about as emblematic as it gets about how the other half lives and about how the justice system is a farce in a lot of respects. The people at the top of the heap making the decisions that control every court in the United States of America are accepting money under the table, essentially, from people who appear in front of them, which immediately calls into question any of their rulings, right? Because that's the whole thing you hear. John Quayle can speak to this. We talk about it in the law a lot, quote, the air of impropriety. Well, this stinks of impropriety. If I appear in front of you and I've paid for something that you have not declared, and ultimately I've given you that gift and you rule in my favor, then the question is, did you really reason in the way you thought was appropriate, or did you reason to hook the homies up? This is really telling of a huge institutional issue. And I mean, in reading and preparing for the segment, I saw that Justice Jackson and others have received Beyonce tickets and other kinds of things. And look, you know, I like the idea that ideologically we know where she lies, but none of them should accept gifts.
Right.
Because their rulings are immediately called into question.
Right.
And those rulings have an immediate effect on our lives. Like when I walk out here today out of my office and I get pulled over by an officer, he or she is going to be bound by Supreme Court precedent. The idea that that precedent can be bought or sold by the highest bidder calls everything into question. And it's just heinous that it's continuing to happen and that he's continuing to be dishonest about it with the I didn't know I needed to disclose that. Usually judges do the opposite, and they go very hard in trying to be transparent about things because they don't want to be called to the carpet on this. But with the Supreme Court, since there's nobody above them, they've had no onus to do that.
There is no way in hell, John Quayle, that the Supreme Court can govern themselves. No, that's gone. That whole, well, you know what, over the years, this is how it's been done. No, you cannot be an equal branch of government with the judiciary and the executive and you self-govern. I'm sorry. You have standards in Congress. You've got standards in the executive branch. There's got to be standards here when it comes to the federal judiciary. And in fact, here's what's crazy. There are standards for other federal judges. But the Supreme Court is like, oh yeah, now we above everybody else. No, this man is bought and paid for. Ain't no other reason Harlan Crow just giving money to Clarence Thomas. Let me go ahead. Can we just go ahead and just be as frank as possible? If a dude wrote to a woman and say, baby, listen up. I'm going to fix your mama's house. I'm going to go ahead and pay for all of the trimmings and the fixing of your mama's house. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just buy your mama's house. And she ain't got to send me no rent. Oh, baby, you want that RV? Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and pay off that $270,000 loan on your RV. Oh, baby, I'm just gonna fly you out. I'm gonna put you on a private jet, and I'm gonna fly you here and here. I'm gonna fly you here and there, and we're gonna fly you all over. I'm gonna give you all kind of other gifts. I ain't doing all that out the goodness of my heart. There's an expectation that comes with me hooking your ass up.
That's with most things in life, right? As they say, nothing is for free. Or I think that's an old saying, but I think that you're absolutely right. I think that I think that these disclosures now, after they have examined these over the years, there can be no more self-governance. I think part of the reasoning behind they can govern themselves is that the chance of people's cases coming into contact with them is rare. But at this juncture, when you've accepted that amount of gifts, there's no way that you don't have any conflicts with the cases that have come before the court. You know, in Georgia, a judge can't even receive a gift over $100, right? So you're saying $100 on the local level, but the Supreme Court justices can accept millions of dollars. That is absolutely insane. And frankly, I think the time to change that is now.
He is listen, Michael, let's just go ahead and straight. This right here is these billionaires to Clarence Thomas. They like, we gonna make, like Clarence, we gonna make it rain, Clarence. They specking that ass. We gonna make it rain. Let's just call it what it is. He is bought and paid for.
Absolutely.
And he's doing the legal lap dance for Harlan Crow and these billionaires. Let's just call this thing what it is.
Absolutely. And ruling in cases against African Americans as well. But you take this a step further, Clarence Thomas could have been nullified if more people in 2016 had voted for Hillary Clinton, because Donald Trump got 3 Supreme Court justices. And let's take another step further. These were ultra-conservative Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump got confirmed. They were given to him that came from lists from the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, as well as the 226 federal judges that Donald Trump got confirmed as well. So people, a lot of times, we don't connect the dots in how we got here, right? If Hillary Clinton had become president, she would have gotten 3 Supreme Court justices, so it would be 5-4. Liberal Supreme Court as opposed to 6-3 conservative Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court justices and federal judges are one of the lasting effects of a presidency. Clarence Thomas was nominated. Clarence Thomas was appointed by.
But listen, I get all of that. I get all that history. Forget all that history. This man is making legal decisions that has a direct impact on the billionaires who's giving him free trips. Period.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. Right now. Right. This man Chief Justice John Roberts should be far more aggressive in holding this man accountable. And frankly, Roberts has been silent. He is allowing his court to be corrupted. It's corrupted by Clarence Thomas. It's corrupted by Sam Alito, period.
Well, Roberts and Alito, they served in the Reagan administration. They served in the...
Yeah, but I'm talking about right now. Right now, they are making decisions today that's impacting it's impacting these billionaires. There's no way around it. And this whole, there's no direct case. No. We ain't buying that. We ain't buying it.
It's corruption, but that's why they were put there in the first place.
Yeah, but it's
corrupt.
But this is where Senator Dick Durbin of the Senate Judiciary Committee needs to be a lot more aggressive, and he's been far too passive allowing these things to happen. 20 seconds, I got to go to break.
That's what I was coming to. New York Times, there's an article from today, June 7th. Senate Democrats face escalating calls for broader investigation into High Court.
Well, they need to hurry the hell up because they too damn slow and they too passive on this whole thing. Got to go to a break real quick. We come back. Education Matters on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, we're talking about the difficulty of being able to acquire wealth for Black Americans. My guest, Emily Flitter, is the author of The White Wall: How Big Finance is Bankrupting Black Americans.
The bad stuff that you feel when you're dealing with the financial services industry is not your fault. It's not your fault, and you don't deserve to be treated like this.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Now streaming on the Black Star Network.
It was my junior year at Georgetown, and Spike calls me and he says, Malcolm, what are you doing next year? So, graduating, you know. He said, take a year off, work on Malcolm X. I said, okay.
But first of all, for the folks who don't know, Spike is
my cousin. Spike is my cousin.
Just the person watching, like, how the hell is Spike just gonna tell you that
it's true? It's true.
What's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Financial literacy is critically important. That's why our father is hosting an online summer camp that helps Black youth learn about investing in the stock market, crypto, real estate, and more. Kavon Chisholm is executive director of Junior Wall Streeters, Inc. He joins me from Gainesville, Virginia. Kavon, glad to have you here. And so what kicked this idea off?
Thank you for having me. This is our 5th year in a row of doing this. So we started just because we wanted to have a positive impact on our community. And it starts, I believe that it starts with being financially educated. So we're happy to offer the 3 different types of camps, and all of these camps are in line with our mission of trying to address the racial wealth gap that we are experiencing here in the United States.
Was there anything in particular that caused you to say, you know what, we got to get this thing started now?
So my full-time job, I'm an attorney, and I wanted to do something that I was passionate about, and it just I wanted to just start to share some of the knowledge that I had, and at the time my son was 11 years old, so but what kicked it off is that I was I still am a part of an investment club, a family investment club. We've been in existence for 21 years, and I wanted to share that knowledge about with others, the benefits and the success story that we've had by investing together as a family. But we ran into a roadblock because not many adults were interested in learning more about stocks. Some of them were afraid of the stock market, and some of them have had bad experiences. So we had to pivot. We still have that investment club component in existence, but we had to pivot, and we started Junior Wall Streeters, which is a nonprofit which focuses on primarily educating youth. We do adults too, but our summer camps that we offer, after school programs, primarily focuses on educating youth from 12 to 21 years old.
From the panel, let's see here. Jonquil, you first.
Well, first, I just want to say this is such an amazing program that you've created just because that's such a deep need in our community. So thank you so much for this program. One of the things, I saw that it was a virtual program. One, are you still accepting applicants for this summer? And 2, how are you able to keep, since it is virtual, how are you guys able to keep the kids engaged?
Yeah, we're still accepting applications, and so we play a lot of games. We do a lot of games too, and the games are to keep the kids engaged and also to make sure that they're learning the material. So, and kids like the competition aspect. And we also have the kids involved in clubs. So, and like we break the kids up towards the end of the camp after we teach them about the stock market. We have them in clubs, and they compete against each other to determine whose portfolio is doing better, the best. So we work really hard. I have a full-time financial literacy a teacher that teaches financial literacy full-time, Michelle Gosley. So she's pretty aggressive with making sure that the kids learn and using different techniques. So we do, by the way, this is our first year. We will be offering a camp in person in Maryland. We've joined another nonprofit, Faith Over Fear Empowerment Group in Maryland, and they're located in Salisbury, Maryland. And there we will have in August, in the month of August, we will have a financial literacy and investing camp in conjunction with the Salvation Army there.
Michael.
All right. Hey, this is great. And, I've taught entrepreneurship for years as well. You talked about in the piece from blacknews.com, you talked about community wealth building through investment clubs and how this is one of the things that you teach, community wealth building. Can you talk about the difference between community wealth building as opposed to some other programs dealing with investments that focus on individual wealth building? And once people build the wealth, how do you instruct them, or what are suggestions you give to them for the betterment of the community with the wealth?
Yeah, so we really haven't, just because the lack of interest in many of, I'll be honest, unfortunately, many African Americans are just not interested in starting investment clubs. My goal when I started this business 5 years ago was to have 10 investment clubs started, and then move on to do some type of angel investing. And thus far, we've only had 3. I wrote a book on this as well, building wealth through financial legacy, building wealth through investment clubs. So that's why we're working with youth, right? But I think it's very, very important for more African Americans to join join investment clubs, because if you look at the wealth gap, the latest statistics say that the average net wealth for African Americans is $45,000, right. $45,500, compared to whites, which is $285,000. So there's a significant gap, right? Significant gap in that. So if we can get together, when we talk about investment clubs, we talk about, pooling our resources together like we do in my family. So we put together $200 a month. We save that for a couple of months, and then we invest it in the stock market. So it's less risk on each individual person. So, and to answer your question, what do we want them to do? So we teach our parents about opening up 529 plans for their kids. We hear a lot about these student loans going on, and I was one. I 3 degrees, I had over $80,000 in student loans when I finished some 30 years ago. How are we going to pay that off? We got to teach. We got to learn about these options out there, 529 plans, opening up custodial accounts for kids so they can get started early. But it's just not enough African Americans are investing in the stock market. So we're starting with 12-year-olds, so the kids will know once they become adults that they have this information.
Matt?
Yeah, I really want to laud you for this program. This is extraordinary because there are a lot of Black professionals and a lot of people who just are afraid of the market and feel like they don't want to put it in there. So I think it's so good to get in front of that with kids. But the question I actually wanted to ask is there a component about practical life skills as it relates to finances? And I ask because I think a lot of our people struggle sometimes from understanding the full impact of interest rates. When you go buy a car, what the impact is on the interest rate as opposed to your monthly payment, that kind of thing, right? So is there a component that discusses practical life skills as it relates to finance? Because that obviously has a big bearing on their lives as well.
Yeah, this program is really based on my life as a whole, as growing up in Newark, New Jersey, living with my mom, a single parent, being evicted a couple times, having our lights turned off, and just living through that, right? Going to college, having 5 credit cards, 3 credit cards, my first 3 months in college, having bad credit. So, so far as the practical knowledge, what we do, 2 things, right? Our summer camps, after the kids go through our summer camps, we have an alumni program, and we meet with the kids free of charge to come back once a month. We go over the materials and introduce materials that we couldn't cover. And one of the new things that we're offering this year, in 2 weeks actually, my wife is a social worker, so I kind of convinced her to go get a financial literacy certification. I didn't even know they had this degree out there. But now we're going to be offering workshops for parents, encouraging parents to come to the workshops so they can learn how to talk to their kids about money. Because I'm thinking about my life, my experience, right? What if my mom would have sat down with me and said, you know what, Kevon, we're going to get evicted because I couldn't pay the bills, whatever the reasons were. What my understanding of money now, or as I was going through this process, would be better now, right? So we're trying all different avenues and trying to be applicable as possible. And I use my real life experience. Like every November, my credit card company, my credit union, when we teach up kids about credit unions, because not enough of us have credit union accounts, which we know most of the time when you buy a car, you can get the lowest credit rating from a credit union, right? Interest rate. So I get this offer from my credit union every year. Do not pay your car bill in December. No, free. And I presented that to the kids. Is this a good offer? And believe it or not, some of the kids thought it was a good offer. But then we taught them, no, that's not a good offer because they're still charging me interest rates. So we definitely do try to make sure they understand why this knowledge that they're obtaining needs to be reinforced and used as often as possible.
So, Kevon, how can folks get more information?
More information, go to our website, www.junior.wallstreeters.org. And we do have limited amount of scholarships for campers. I just want to encourage you, our application is right on the website. If you do get awarded a scholarship, please attend the camp for the full 2 weeks. The financial literacy camps are 2 weeks. Introduction to cryptocurrency is 1 week, and introduction to real estate investment is 1 week. And we are also still looking for sponsors to sponsor the kids that are unable to attend the camp, because we believe regardless of your parents' financial situation, you deserve a financial education. So anyone is willing to sponsor a camper, you can do that as well from looking at our going to our website.
All right.
JuniorWallStreeters.org.
All right, Kevon, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, to the panel, I surely appreciate it. Michael, Jonquel, Matt, thank you so very much for joining us today's show. I certainly appreciate it. Folks, I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk about Steve Harvey Golf Classic, which took place Wednesday in Atlanta. Hey, don't forget. So here's the deal. There are 45 copies of the first left. I have signed all of them. I've looked everywhere. It's just 45 left. If you want to get one of those 45, you better order it now, because we're going to be completely gone. And I told you I'm not reprinting anything. And so you can go to RolandSMartin.com/thefirst, RolandSMartin.com/thefirst to actually check out to get your copy of that book. So again, y'all, come on, put the graphic up, guys. Why are we so slow? Let's go. Thank you very much. Again, get your copy of the first. Again, just about 45 copies left. And then once they're gone, they are absolutely gone. What are we doing in there? Okay, all right. So again, go to RolandSMartin.com/thefirst, RolandSMartin.com/thefirst. I'll be right back.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture,
We're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
Farquhar, executive producer of Proud Family.
Bruce Smith, creator and executive producer of The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, y'all, Wednesday, I was at in Atlanta, the Steve Harvey Charity Golf Classic, so we had an absolute fabulous time, all the players out there. It was, of course, raising money for the boys and girls camps that Steve Harvey puts on here in the United States. And so I had some time out there. Steve was out there. This is them, of course, as on the final hole before walking off. And so check this out.
Somewhere between those two balls.
I'm gonna put that birdie in there.
Come on, get there, get there. Put it between it. Yeah. You put it between, gentlemen.
We don't do pictures.
Oh, okay.
We don't do pictures.
Don't believe that shit, man. Hey, how you doing, sir?
What's up?
Yeah, all right, all right. What's up, man? Hey, Les, good game, baby. Thank you, man. Enjoy it, man. Yeah. Blues and game, boy. My man. What you gonna Les? Yes, sir. Roland Martin.
How you hit him, Doc?
Thank you for coming out. Well, for the way I play, I hit him great. You probably be very unhappy at this point. But I have lowered my expectations to the point where I can have a great time playing golf. I'm a much better fisherman, but ain't no fish out here.
But the other kids, you raise the funds for the kids, right?
That's absolutely, that's all that matters. How'd you play today?
I don't know, I think we finished 9-10.
Yeah, we liked out there. We was trying to get 11, 12. Where we at, y'all? About 11, 10, 11. I was about to say, of course, somebody gonna come in here with a shoot a 40.
48.
Yeah. All eagles, an albatross. You finna see some greatness out here. You're gonna announce the winner and everybody gonna go, Jesus. Yeah, that's what's planned. Roland Martin, appreciate you, man.
Not a problem, Doc.
Always support the good cause.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
A good brother. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Steve was surprised by the homie Charles Barkley, who was out there as well, and so I decided to go visit their group. Y'all need me to hit the shot?
We already hit. How you doing, brother?
Chilling.
See? Same place.
Yeah, I like it. That's crazy. Straight.
But I'm saying that there's T-box line there. I agree. Hey, is those the shoes that they gave you the course today, or you already had
I got these ones I got last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Golf shoes, and you can wear them off the course.
Elvis, your nemesis is here, Elvis. He whooping on you.
You can't get in yours?
How you hitting them, Hall of Famer?
Not bad. 15 under right now.
Oh, okay, not bad.
You know. You heard that, didn't you, Roland?
Not bad. So who's actually carrying this team?
This is the best player in the group.
We have a lot of good teamwork
Well,
going
no,
on.
I'm sorry. He's the best player.
We have a lot of good teamwork going on.
You lying. You
We're about
know.
to go inside and get this dub, and that's that on that.
Oh, you.
My
y'all
nickname
go.
is Handicap.
Y'all, huh?
My nickname is Handicap. That's not for your golf game. They call you Handicap, not for your golf game.
How you swinging, Chuck?
I'm playing well, man. Hey, man, he hit some good shots, man. I'm proud I came out. He hit some bangers.
All right,
yes,
then.
sir. Hit some bangers. Got to keep his feet on the ground, though. He keep jumping still.
Well, shit, that's what he's supposed to do. He used to get rebounds, damn it. Everybody used to that. Come on now.
Tell him about it.
Everybody.
But our true one getting ready to put one on the green up there.
Okay.
She gets to play from the ladies' team, see?
Oh, I know. She's from Houston.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
She played at Texas Southern. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay. That's why she's the best player. Yeah. Houston, we're ready for you. See, we got your cameraman here for you. Stop there now.
Yeah, it is.
What? This your caddy?
I just put middle.
It's my caddy and my coach.
Teamwork, you know what it says. Teamwork. Now I think middle of the green.
You think so? Yeah, and let the win.
There we go. That's why we be winning.
That could have been a little closer.
Oh, could it?
That could have been a little closer.
Oh, could it? You'll put yours
That could have been a little closer. Let me go get my club.
Go get it.
Let me go get my club. Go get my club. That was Amber Kirkendall. She, of course, is from Houston, played golf at Texas Southern University, led them to a couple of SWAC championships, and so good to see her. Now, also out there was Pastor Keon Henderson out of Houston. Y'all remember when he went viral for this?
Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus.
I lift my hands. He said, stop her, hush. Well, y'all know I'm petty, and I forgets nothing. So here's him coming off the final hole.
You should have been here like 5 seconds ago. You seen the 20-foot I just made. 20-footer from 30.
A 20-footer you just made?
Yeah, knowing his putt.
Let me just say this here. Hush.
It's gonna be with me forever, man.
See, I'm gonna sit here and crack on you. You're gonna get cracked on the golf course. Well, as I said, the proceeds from the golf tournament benefit his boys, Steve Harvey's Boys and Girls Camp. And speaking of Pastor Keon, when we were in the awards part, this announcement was made.
Please stand to your feet. Give it up for Pastor Keon for blessing the Stephen Martin Harvey Foundation with $100,000. Wow, wow. I need to hear this. I need to hear it. Pastor Keon, thank you so much. God, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You ain't got to hush.
Anybody else want to speak now?
Again, a $100,000 donation to Pastor Keon to the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. And finally, here's Steve talking about there was a group of young men from Chicago who came there who were involved in this program, and they spoke about the importance of the program. And so this was Steve right here.
I really appreciate them young brothers coming up here from Chicago. Hey, man. When you all come to this camp, when you all give, look, man, it changes people's lives. You don't know, like the brother from 100 Men said, they be what they see. And when they see us, they become us. A young boy is going to be the man that he sees in front of him. We got to get them out of these conditions. All of you survive rough conditions, man. And we got to keep making it possible for these young kids to see something different. Grab them, snatch them up. I had a cat. Me and my wife was coming through customs about 8 years ago. And a guy came up to me, he said, Mr. Harvey, I want to talk to you. And he was sagging. I mean, his underwear was showing. So I said, you want to talk to me? He said, yeah. I said, man, pull your pants up, tuck your shirt in so I can talk to you. He said, oh, okay. He started stucking his shirt. I said, well, pull your belt, tighten your belt up so we can talk. He was just doing it because he wanted to talk to me. But I'm not talking to you and you showing me your underwear. He said, so why I got to pull my pants up to talk to you? Because I said, I don't talk to men who are showing me their underwear. That's not the manly thing to do. You know what his problem was? It was a girl that worked in customs that he wanted to talk to. And he didn't have a father and a big brother. And he wanted to ask me, what could he say to talk to that girl? So I said, why don't you go up and introduce yourself? He said, should me like go up and say, what's up, shorty? I said, no, motherfucker, ask her. I'm sorry. I done got one of you. As soon as it came out, I went, I said, no, man. I said, why don't you say, hey, excuse me, my name is Eric, or what's your name? I said, get to know her like that. I said, you probably need a haircut. You know, probably get a haircut and tuck your pants in because she look kind of fly and she don't really look like she'll do nothing with you. I ain't think nothing of it. I gave him my number. We talked a couple more times. I helped the young man get into school. That young man today is a manager at a Home Depot. Him and the girl is married with 2 kids. You know what I'm saying, man? It's just, all I did was take the time out to talk to him, to give him some direction, and that's what I need, man. I need organizations like 100 Men and you brothers. Look, it's hard for me to ask for money. I already know. You don't like giving rich people money. That's why I don't like to ask for it, because everybody I ask for money, why don't you just pay it yourself? Well, how much shit I got to buy? I'm put all this shit on it. Fuck, I'm out of money. Motherfucker, I want to go on a trip or something. I want to make my fucking car note. I can't just give up all my money, and I'm helping other people's kids. But man, the money you donate, if you take the time out to just talk to these young cats, man, when you ain't got no father, when you ain't got no brother, you trying to figure this out. You know how hard manhood is. This shit is hard without no direction. You know, a young man without a role model is like an explorer without a map. How do you figure manhood out without talking to another man? So as many of you that can volunteer your time, I don't care if you don't have money. If you give me your time and you can snatch up one of these cats and give them your number. Just give these boys a number, somebody they can call and run something by. That can change their life. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying?
And that was Sharon Page. She run the foundation all in the camera. I'm like, Sharon, get out the way. Trying to shoot. All right, y'all. Again, had a great time out there. Monday, I'm going to be in Atlanta Warwick Dunn has his 11th annual golf classic benefiting his foundation. You know, he's been putting single mothers in homes for years, and so we'll be talking to Warwick on Monday from his golf tournament in Atlanta. Folks, that's it for us. Hope y'all have a fabulous weekend. Don't forget to support us in what we do, folks. Again, the work we do, I know some of y'all may think, oh man, you're out there playing golf, but here's the whole deal. Guess what? There wasn't other media out there at Steve's tournament. Not at Anthony's tournament. They're not going to be at SEDS. Not a lot of different places. And so we are providing coverage of a lot of these events where, again, thousands of our young folks are being helped as a result of the work that's being done by these brothers. And so that's why we're there to support. So you can support us by joining our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each. $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. You can send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered, PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Folks, don't forget, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. As I told you, I have just 45 copies left of the first, y'all. That's it. 45 copies. I'm not reprinting it. I'm personally autographing every single one. Let's get these out of the way. The final books will be shipped tomorrow. And so you order the book now. I will be autographing it tonight. And so I cut the price. It's $10 shipping and handling. It's $7.99. I'll be personally autographing. So get your copy of the first. President Barack Obama's road to the White House as originally reported by Roland S. Martin. Go to RolandSMartin.com/the first. Also get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available at bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version on Audible. Folks, I'll see y'all on Monday from Atlanta. Ho!